Sydney or Melbourne? This has been a million-dollar question for a very long time, and the debates around this topic will probably last forever. Especially when you are thinking about moving to Australia, which city would be a better option for you? As someone who has lived in both cities in the past, I hope this video could give you a fair comparison between Sydney and Melbourne and also help you to better understand how it feels like living in these two wonderful cities. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't watched my previous video about moving to Australia, please find the links in the description and make sure to subscribe to my channel for more similar videos in the future. Let's start with the international rankings from the most well-known resources. In last year's Top 10 Livable Cities in the World published by The Economist Intelligence Unit, Melbourne and Sydney are ranked as number 2 and number 3 with a score of 98.4 and 98.1 respectively, which was pretty close to each other. It also means that no matter in which city you live, you will be enjoying the highest standard of life quality in the world. However,
the poor air quality has triggered urgent health warnings and fears the haze could be with us for the rest of the week.
No longer glistening blue skies, from the air an eerie orange glow.
Well, there's no relief
today.
tonight from the smoke haze, a suffocating reminder of the bushfires burning on our doorstep.
Okay, we will come back to this point later. Let's look at other factors first. First, in terms of population, right now Sydney is the most populated city in Australia with a total population of 5.2 million, while Melbourne has the second largest population of 4.9 million. However, the population density of Melbourne is 453 people per square kilometer, which is more crowded compared to 400 people per square kilometer in Sydney. Nevertheless, both cities are not as crowded as you might think if you compare the population densities with 4,000 per kilometer in London or 10,000 per kilometer in New York. And based on the current population growth rate, Melbourne is projected to overtake Sydney and become the most populated Australian city by the year of 2040. Both cities are super international and many of their residents come from all over the world. According to statistics, the top 10 home countries for Sydney's residents who were born outside of Australia are mainland China, England, India, New Zealand, Vietnam, Philippines, Lebanon, South Korea, Hong Kong, and Italy. While the top 10 birth countries for Melbourne residents who were born overseas are India, mainland China, England, Vietnam, New Zealand, Italy, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Greece, and Philippines. Now let's talk about weather. Both cities have mild and temperate climate. Neither of them got too hot in the summer or too cold in the winter. Your average temperature of Sydney ranges from 17 to 27 degrees during summer and 7 to 18 degrees during winter, while the temperature in Melbourne is 12 to 26 in the summer and 6 to 15 degrees in the winter. In addition, there are around 236 of sunny or partly sunny days each year in Sydney, while in Melbourne the number is only around 185 days a year when people can see the sun. So in general, Sydney got a bit more of sunshine compared to Melbourne. However, Melbourne has a cooler weather in all seasons. Speaking about all seasons, one big advantage of Melbourne is that you can experience 4 seasons within one day. At least that's what everybody says. In terms of living costs, according to different resources and considering the factors of accommodation, food, transportation, shopping, and entertainment together, the estimated monthly cost living in Sydney for each person is around 3,296 Australian dollars, while in Melbourne the monthly living cost is only 2,695 dollars per month, which is around 18% lower than Sydney. However, the average monthly income in Sydney is also around 9% higher compared to Melbourne. If you plan to buy a property, Sydney and Melbourne are currently ranked as number 3 and number 4 in the world's least affordable housing market. To be more specific, the residents in Melbourne will have to give away 9 years' salary in exchange for a property, while in Sydney, it takes the resident to work for 11 years in order to afford a property. Welcome to Australia! Speaking about opportunities, like many other cities in the world, both Sydney and Melbourne have a service-oriented economy. The major industry in Sydney includes commerce, retailing, technology, entertainment, finance, and tourism. In Melbourne, the main industries include retailing, manufacturing, technology, financial service, and healthcare. The overall job market is bigger in Sydney, especially in the area of professional services and technologies, but more competitive market comes with greater pressure from workplaces. In fact, Sydney was ranked as the 11th place in Forbes' ranking of the world's most stressed out cities. In this list, Sydney was one place higher than Chicago and one place lower than Buenos Aires. In terms of education, both Sydney and Melbourne are the world's most popular study destinations, and both cities are home to a number of the world's top universities. The top university in Sydney includes University of Sydney, University of New South Wales, University of Technology Sydney, while in Melbourne you can find University of Melbourne, Monash University, and RMIT University. And both cities have a close to 30% of population holding a bachelor degree or above. Speaking about nature, both cities are surrounded by plenty of national parks and various types of natural attractions to visit. As a harbour city, Sydney is home to over 100 different kinds of beaches, ranging in different sizes from a few meters to a few kilometers. These places are attracting thousands of beachgoers every sunny day all year round. On the west side of the city, it only takes less than 1 hour's drive from Sydney's CBD to the Blue Mountain National Park, which has one of the most iconic views of Australia's natural beauty. In Melbourne, there are not that many beaches close to the city compared to Sydney, but there are also a number of national parks within a few hours' drive from the CBD, not to mention the world-famous Great Ocean Road, which is only 200 kilometers east to the city. While talking so much pretty things about the nature, there is definitely one thing we can't ignore: the bushfire. Both cities have been suffering great damages from the bushfires throughout the history. During one of the greatest bushfire seasons last year, the air quality of both Sydney and Melbourne were constantly impacted by the smokes brought by the fire for several months, and it still remains uncertain on how the local governments are planning to handle such issues in the future. Culturally, Sydney got all kinds of art galleries, museums, and theaters, not to mention the rather famous Sydney Opera House, which hosts a range of different events throughout each year. However, Melbourne has been recognized as the capital of culture in Australia. The city itself is like a living, breathing piece of art. The urban art can be found everywhere, from the central business district to the suburbs. You can catch live music any night of the week. If there is a new play, show, or musical coming to Australia, it will most probably have a run in Melbourne before Sydney. Lastly, let's talk about food. In my opinion, it's really hard to tell which city got better food options, even though many people I met in Melbourne consider their city as the food capital in Australia. In fact, both Sydney and Melbourne are very international cities and both provide a super wide range of food choices, so you won't be disappointed by either city no matter where you come from and what kind of food you like. So these are my comparisons between these two fascinating Australian cities. Even though I have lived in both cities, if someone asked me which one is better, I honestly still couldn't give a concrete answer. However, here are some of my personal suggestions for you. If you are a beach lover and if you like outdoor exercising in a warmer, decent weather, then Sydney is probably a better place for you. However, if you prefer to live with a slower pace at somewhere that is full of arts, music, and fashion as part of your daily life, then try living in Melbourne. So, what do you think about these two cities and which one do you like more? Let me know about your thoughts in the comments. Of course, there are many other beautiful and super livable cities in Australia, and I will make more videos to talk about them in the future. Thank you for watching this video. If you like what I shared, click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more interesting topics about moving to Australia. See you in my next video.